Hi, folks. Nick Tockert here with the Historical Fencing Guild. Before we get into everything that's going on, I have to pay some bills. So let's pay some bills real quick to let that get going. The Historical Fencing Guild's live stream is currently brought to you by the indiecd.org. That's the Independent Creator Directory.org, your one-stop shop for finding authors, artists, creatives of all scope, as well as musicians, all sorts of stuff, and being a one-time cost, great place to get online presence and be part of a great community. There is a related social media being built right now by Joe Bachman. He's also been kind enough to ensure that we can keep our lights on and stream with all the bells and whistles. So, Joe, thank you, guys. Support indiecd.org. Let's see. We are also made possible by the Simple Sword, the Fighting Axe, and the Simple Spear. All of these are amazing books that can help you learn my system that I've built over the last 20 years of teaching, 20 plus years of teaching people how to sword fight in a safe, reasonable, economic, and calm manner. These should all be available through Amazon at amazon.com/author/Nicholas Tockert. But most importantly, we are made possible by, that's not the right one, my Patreon supporters at www.patreon.com/thehistoricalfencingguild, where as little as $1 a month, you can help me provide the funds to buy and make new gear, to buy gear to review for you that I usually end up giving chunks of it away to the people who need it around me, and make things easier and more acceptable for folks who may be coming into Western martial arts without the funds or the equipment to do so any other way. So thank you for that. Before we get into the comments, I want to say thank you for your slight patience. I had a business matter crop up basically minutes before the launch of the show. So I had to take care of that. Maintaining stuff with some of my IPs. It isn't fun, it isn't easy, but it is necessary. And for me to delay this stream, especially for anything, is not to be taken lightly. I am so far behind that I have yet to put my squeezy stuff into my cup. So yes, we are at this point in the evening. Now, I'm not going to get into those shenanigans, but I may be doing something rather silly in the near future via Amazon. I may have a much busier weekend than I intended. The seal on this thing is a little messed up somehow, and I have to figure out why, because I'm very thirsty. But let's talk. Let's get into the comments, and then I'm going to get into some gear discussion because I've got something I've been working on, and I want to answer a vital question that was given to me, a good question that came to me. And first, I'm going to go through the greetings because it looks like we've got a good bunch of greetings in. Good evening. Foxy was first through the door. Hey, Foxy. Hope you're having a good evening. Hope Thesis is too. Don't tell me we're alone together. People will talk. Hey, Cindy. We're joined by Cindy Kep, author, artist. She does amigurumi, does basically everything you could imagine wanting. Go to ckoepp.com and you will find wonders. She has connections to great people like Bear Publications. Just go there. Look up Animal Eye. You'll be so happy. Brought to you by the the element of surprise. Wasn't that founded by the Spanish Inquisition? Joe says, "Evening, folks. Dropping in really quick, to drop a like before heading out for the night." Thank you for coming by, Joe. You are much appreciated. I'll fill you in on the shenanigans I'm dealing with. It doesn't need to be here. Have a good one. 'Tis all good. I appreciate your space. I am in a 'tis all not good, and I have to decide what I'm going to do about it. But for here and for the guild's purposes, everything is going to be a-okay because I got a plan. I stumbled into something rather interesting, and gosh darn it, I'm going to make a video content about that. And yes, folks, if you would like to tip me, that can be done at paypal.me/Nicholas Tucker. Everything helps, and do I need it right now? So, that. I did not need a spider. Here. Anyhow. And good evening, Alec. Glad to see you in and about. Now, let's talk about. Oh, and my wonderful books are on. Oh, get all the good books. I was ready for her to promote hers. Amazon.com/store/Mr. Nicholas Anthony Tucker. I am indeed here, but now I'm wondering what you would be up to if I weren't. And you'll always wonder. No, I'm in a bit of a mood. I'm trying to find some positivity. Everyone knows I flirt shamelessly as long as I have absolutely no actual intent. If you ever saw what I was like when I was flirting, and I've been married for 20 years, it's a rambling, stuttering mess. But let's rewind you guys into some projects that are in the works, getting better, in development, etc. First off, we have, and my tape got old. My tape got old, and it's not sticking very well, so I will probably have to retape this. I'm fine with it. As you know, I will be switching the guild locally over to these as a primary starting weapon, being the polypropylene rapiers. I'm selecting these because they are incredibly forgiving on impact, relatively low cost, so I can afford to maintain them. And if somebody wears them out, they can, or damages one theoretically can be reimbursed depending on the damage. Now, this is, of course, mine. To solve the problems that we had in the first field test, I have put a tip and spray painted the belt. Mine will be gold. We'll see what other colors may work. This is going to be my personal weapon. I am slowly removing, as you can see, it's not the extra meat in the belly, to eventually shape this to have a little bit more of a grip texture, better compatible to my hand's special needs. I may have to add bits to allow for a keyhole grip. I haven't quite decided yet, but of course, any experimentation will be done on my primary blade so that I don't risk damaging anyone else's. I think that should make perfect sense, right? Okay. Why does this matter to us? Well, we have to make our weapons do what we want. And nothing comes from the store perfect. Now, there is another matter that does need to be discussed. And that is a matter of training, a flaw I have seen for some time. I really should have bought a bunch more of these. Well, maybe I'll just order them. We'll see. And that flaw is people start from an on-guard position. I think of every fencing bout, every kendo bout, every mount, almost every. There isn't one major exception that creeps into some of my Eastern dabblings. That has an application. And that being iodine. What am I saying? My problem is that it rather annoyingly, everyone starts from the draw. So starts from on guard. This bugs me. This bugs me from my core because fights if you're training from a realistic-ish mindset, fights don't start from the on-guard position. They start from you eating a big sandwich. And you see a price sticker on this. That is for the bread. We made the sandwich at home. This much of my sandwich has been my dinner today. I will eat a lot more of it after this is done, put the rest away, because it's a delicious sandwich. But that goes into the, well, what from the draw? If you go on your sites, say for certain Boken-style katana rigs, you will not find sheaths for your trainers. This annoys me, dear viewers. This annoys me, dear guild, because it is a systemic issue with the trainability. So what I did is I solved the problem like any proper working class father would. Our buddy PVC. Now this is the thinner wall stuff. You can get the thicker wall and still work. But I got the thinner wall stuff. And I bought 2 chunks of 10-foot PVC, which cut down for these nicely into 3 of Johnny, my sweet, dear, brilliant man. Batujutsu proved to be superior once again? Are you expecting an argument? Because you won't find it. You see, I did have a nickname in certain circles. A very familiar nickname. But only when I was in the right mood. Anyhow, to train from the draw, I wanted a cheap means of something I could sheath. This solves 2 problems. The tip stops right here. This is cut to that, and I got 6. So I got 3 about 34-inch long chunks of PVC for the blades. I have 6 rapiers. This is beautiful. Now I pop an end cap so that it doesn't pop out, and because it just seems sloppy. And I have a sort of a sheath I can draw from and practice sheathing. Now this is not complete, obviously, because I need to find a way to attach it to a frog or baldric so that it can be worn by my students. And then everyone can spend practice wearing the weapon. This means they're not laying around, they're not getting tossed, they're being worn. I find this delightful. If I continue to use my mutant hilt, I can't draw it. I may not need it indefinitely, but at the moment. Okay, first off, there is absolutely nothing wrong in your case saying I can't train from a sheathed weapon. Totally fine. But I'm going to get to theses. Oh, you guys, because Alec. Okay, but first we got to stay here. I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted. It's that part of the evening. I'm waiting for my 8 o'clocks to kick in. That's fine. To train and do what we do with your mutant hilt, which is a really neat rig, you do what you have to do. I wonder if somebody could 3D print something like a pistol grip for you, which wouldn't be terribly expensive. Like, when I say pistol, I mean the pistol grip for a epee or something that you could actually wrap your hands around and see if that's not even more comfortable than your mutant hilt. And then put it on something like a fiberglass reflector. Just slide it on there, or a wooden dowel, something you could easily take apart, or even collapsible so you don't have to worry about damaging things. But there are options. I was setting this guy up. Now, I made 6 of these. And these were as is. I'm probably going to add a little bit of fabric or fabric tape around the edges so that the edge of the PVC isn't scratching up the guard any more than it has to. And see, while this was going on, Alex laughing, Alex taking notes. Alec, you go ahead and take all the notes you want. Ask questions. That's what we're here for. Technology's not liking me. It happens. Mine even locks to a degree. No worries, Alec. It hates us all sometimes. Anybody who saw my live stream this morning knows that technology despises me. But this works enough to protect these so that if I have to, as I store them, they won't get a curve. If I'm going to be making a rack that holds these straight up, probably out of, whatever wood I can get my sticky hands on. I have some theories, but that works. So these need a baldric, but something else odd happened in the middle of this that is delightful, especially for young Mr. Alec, who maybe can't throw $50 at a trainer. We're going to go to an old friend. So I'm going to put this down. Actually, before I can go to the old friend, I have to talk about this delightful piece of problem. You see, because I got 3 of those trainers out of each of the 10-foot poles, I had this chunk, which is a foot plus the 2 inches, so about 18 inches long. 20. It actually turned out to be around 20 some odd inches long. So I don't know where my tape measure went. They always walk away on me. Wonderful little dude. And I have 2 of these. Oh, could it be bunnies? More notes. What's this got to do with anything? Well, dear friends, I will return you to the the patented. This is the trainer that I designed for inside use that I used to do two-handed techniques so I don't break my ceiling fans. It took me a while to learn. It is roughly 32 inches long with a roughly 20-inch blade and a roughly 10-inch grip. This is all rough. I have an end cap. So this is 1/2-inch PVC, the thick wall stuff. End caps. These used to be 19 cents. They're like 60 now. On a whim, I went, whoop. And I thought, oh no. Look, I'll do this. Look how nice that fits. It sticks out the bottom a little bit from the grip. It could be a little shorter. Boy, that fits nice. So being me, having the sword that actually, this is if it had 2 more inches, it would be 34 inches long overall. So this is about 2 inches. This is indeed 22 inches in the blade. This making this whole rig a good short sword length for yours truly, so that you can understand my wingspan, because my wingspan is 68 inches. So 34 to a side. If you're using a thrust-based rapier, you don't want to go longer than 34 for the ease of drawing, which ironically, the plastics are all in 34. Gear that fits me and most of my short students, instead of having to skim down from everything. But I have this little guy. I love this little guy. Many times I find myself training with this guy because I like the way, because this is a rope that was wrapped around the 1/2-inch PVC, tied in a decent little knot here, and just coiled, then taped with athletic tape. Gives a good positive grip. Doesn't move around. I have no problems with it. The cap is wedged on with the tape folded over the back so that it helps keep it tight. And it's, again, nicely, mostly tight there. For my purposes, this has been a remarkably simple, low-cost trainer. But I realized the problem. I love this thing, but I am not training from a draw. And if I believe that everyone should train from a draw, and I want to try to make sure all my students can train from the draw, I, by gosh, should have to train from the draw as well. Well, there's this. That's not bad, but we can make it better. So today, dear viewers, I went to my favorite store on earth, and I bought a couple things. I bought some Father's Day gifts for my brother, for my father, with my brother. Father's Day gifts for my brother would be weird, although one of my brothers is a father. And I bought another end cap, like I have for those. And I bought a connector for here. Why did I buy the connector? Rest assured, I have a plan there. Now, this is all tension tight as I can get it. I could easily hammer this together tighter, but for my purposes, it's not coming apart. Having an outer ring like this, and I will be buying more of these, will allow, I usually have some rope or belting laying around here. Have I used all my paracord in this area of the house? Alas, it appears I have. That's almost okay. Let me double check, because I am shocked. Have I actually on screen used all the paracord handy? I know I have a couple rolls that I have rope anyway, so demonstrating this will be a little difficult. That's fine, but I can take for the purposes of our explanation, I'll use what I have handy, which is some messed up tape. If I tie something to the uncapped PVC, it can slide around. But if I have an end, it can catch. So when I tie whatever material I want to put a loop on this boy, it will hold quite nicely. And this can then go foop into there, foop out. And I say foop because tell me that's not a satisfying sound as I whack my microphone for its insubordination. It's not even a chair. Anyway, so foop. Not ask. We are joined by a minor, folks. Please behave. And we will be joined by more if all goes well. Because I cannot in person physically train minors. Well, I could, but that's awful risky. It's not something I'm comfortable with. Let me see. Where's the other piece? It's in here. See, I have more electrical tape for doing the tips of the weapons. And I have this. This little beast is a flange. Wonderful little device. Now, when I have time, because this is delightfully stuck right on. I will have to get assistance from someone stronger than me or some type of mallet rig, and I will. That's smart, Nick. Thank you. Yes, it's me, Minor. Sorry, Alec. But this lovely thing will give a discard to this weapon. Now, it has to be modified with a Dremel tool for a couple of reasons. Because, and I don't know if you can see on the inside of such a flange. Let me see if I can get the camera to show. Yeah. Do you see that little ring that makes it an end stop? Wonderful for a lot of things, but not for what I want to do. Now, if I wanted to use this to turn something like that into a spear and put a big old squishy head on the end, that would be delightful. And it wouldn't slide down because that would stop it. But I don't. I want this to slide all the way down and be a nice, simple guard that I could either cut down on the sides and make it a limited square guard, possibly with a nagel of some kind, or I could just leave it as is, as a disc guard. Wonderful little thing. But to do it, I have to use a Dremel tool or similar implement to ream this back out to full diameter so I can slide it down. And then, and I'll show you this because I like to show my works in progress, these ridges probably will have to go. There are 4 ridges. And the reason is I noted something else interesting. Had I not had substantial sudden financial difficulties, I would have done something. Where did, my tube. See this lovely end piece? This will fit in there. Meaning that if I run this as my guard, and I will probably have to use PVC glue and loose a little bit, so probably just bevel to make it a little easier. This will hold the whole rig in so that I can just sort of run around with the sword on whatever rig and pull it and have the trainer be functional. We don't discriminate on age. We have all types here. Exactly. That's why I have to ask. I try to keep my programs safe for work because I work with teenagers that are interested in what I do and younger. And because of that, to be able to work in libraries, I volunteer. I don't get paid for it usually, but do art programs and things. I have to kind of make, don't get me fired, guys. Let me put it that way. So that, once I get the guard fitted on, will be a perfect, relatively inexpensive trainer, where the most expensive part is actually this flange thing. And I find that delightful. So I'm going to build that up. I'm going to put that there. If I can get this one off, I will. If not, I will make a duplicate. I might even be horrible and add a couple inches to this to make it perfect. Oh no. I know. It's scary. Yep. Jot down notes. Don't get Nick fired. Jot down notes. So, I will have this lovely trainer. Now this gets to the next part of the questions of the show. I'm excited about doing this. I can't wait to get this done. It may not be today. It may not be this weekend with everything that just went boink. With this, I'll have a neat trainer. Now, why? First, this goes back to our dear friend Johnny. Way back up here, he said something quite interesting. Batujutsu, which I could say what I'm thinking, is much like Aiajutsu, except more aggressive. It is the art of using the sword and sheath in combat, aka the strikes of the legendary Batusai the Slasher. Well, if I were, and that's a fictional character based in history, not real, but elements from basically my favorite anime, and I make no qualms about it. Your heroes, even your fictional ones, will always influence what you do. With this, I have the draw, and as an offhand, I have a fairly rugged, not perfect. I probably, if I were going against more rugged weaponry, I would consider making it out of threaded aluminum or something along those lines. But a wonderful trainer where I can train from the draw and using a defensive tool being the theoretically reinforced sheath. This is delightful. This is the joy. This is great because I can just hang this, and then I can either make a baldric or a sword belt or something that will work with my needs so that I can hang something like this and go. Then, when I get this all perfected and I figure out how I want this weapon to work and look, maybe I'll reach out to Purple Heart Armory and commission another weapon. But I am notorious for using similar techniques from way back. And for me and my size, this is one of the near optimum what we consider short sword length. I love them to do dual wield, so I'll probably make a second. I love them to single wield because I am comfortable two-handed wielding something like this. Again, I still prefer a couple more inches on the end. But it's all quite doable. And the neat thing is, it's about $5 for a full length, 10-foot length of one of these. It's about the same for one of these. Couple bucks for end caps. You go down to your local hardware store. And anyone can make this kind of training equipment on any budget. That means if you know somebody who's a plumber and they have leftover pipe from a project, you might be able to get the pieces to do this. If you see the garbage can for a new assembly, somebody's throwing out a bunch of PVC and it's not nasty used PVC, but the leftovers, you might be able to do something like this. More importantly, with the range of thought, you can come up with something like this that will let you train your techniques with what you can get. That is vital. Sword and saya trainers, you see a lot. A ninjato trainer, which is close to what I'm making here, $20 to $50. If you spend enough money to make this kind of rig, okay, you won't just have enough to make this kind of rig. You'll have this enough to make a variety with a few add-ins of other simple trainers. Maybe you're not in a position where you're comfortable ordering online. Maybe you don't, you could piecemeal it. You could buy the PVC one time and leave it in your garage or wherever. And next week when payday hits, get the cut things. Get a cheap cutter or borrow a saw. It can be done. As I will recommend for any children doing this, please do so with adult supervision for your safety and my liability. But everything fighting should be done with adult supervision. Okay? Now, why else do I like this length. It's a matter of accessibility. Very many people say that the katana is the most loved and most used sword in the world. I say that that gets a little bougie for me. That's right, I said bougie. Throughout the entire world, especially your poorer places, the machete or single-edged, roughly 20 to 24 inch hacking blade on a grip anywhere from this long to much longer is incredibly common. It is very much a people's weapon. It's also if you have to improvise a fighting length weapon out of whatever you can get, it's one of the simpler to produce. It's not an excessively long to make, even of high quality, with a fairly limited forge. It may get a little shorter, it may get a little longer, but this is a good general idea. This isn't much shorter than a baseball bat. This isn't much. This is right around a T-ball bat in America. This is not much longer than a plunger handle, which is often made of wood. Plunger handles have to be sturdier than even broom handles because they're always under pressure. So often plunger handles are going to be sturdier than the hollow core broom handles you may otherwise encounter. Now, PVC is not a great sparring weapon, trainer. It shatters, and it shatters ugly. It does not flex. It flexes a little bit and then breaks. This is not for full speed training. This is for muscle memory, basic training, light, controlled technique training. It's still a great way to start when you got next to nothing. Now, I have trainers, guys. Here, trainers on hand. Let's play that game. Right now, we have, and I took the rope off when my hands were bad, and I'm going to have to make a new scales for this, probably drill out this or saw off this rivet and rewrap. This is the cold steel, not cold steel, good Lord, Purple Heart Armory. Go use the link in the description to go there. D-Guard Bowie trainer. It's got about an 18-inch blade. So, compared to my improv trainer, whatever we want to call it, about an inch too shorter than the functional blade on this. It's got a guard. It's made of high-density polypropylene, probably. Great trainer. Fantastic trainer. About $25. I have this. I love this. I may make sheaths or something for this as well. Great trainer. I have a modded, literally offhand, Purple Heart Armory, old style, I want to say Penty, parry dagger, with a mild steel guard that I wrapped in electrical tape and padded the edges so it wouldn't chew up other weapons. This thing weighs about 2, maybe 3 pounds. It is heavy. But since it's meant to be used windshield wiper, it's not bad. And when I'm for physical therapy, I keep it around because it's just a good weight to work with to strengthen my hands. Weighs a lot more than the cold steel trainers, but those have been discontinued. So we're going to have to look at other options. Yes, I will probably order a Purple Heart parry dagger and review it for you guys. That's here. I mean, my polypropylene. I've got small swords. I've got large swords. I've got my freaking Suba-less Odachi, which is almost as tall as I am. I think this is actually 4-something feet long. I bought it in clearance because the shoulders got misformed, so it wouldn't hold the Suba straight. I love this thing. Even though it weighs more than is comfortable for me to wield, who doesn't want the Sephiroth Masamune? And that's basically what this thing is. You know? Just because I don't act edgy doesn't mean I don't appreciate the edge. Now, let me get down here into the comments. Wow, there's a lot of comments. Okay, so I'm going to address, but why do I have a PVC staff or two in the living room? And why do I love this thing? I literally own dozens of different trainers of knives and swords. I love this thing and what it's becoming because I can say, here, they're not going to discontinue PVC anytime soon. A new person can understand what this is. And in learning how to use something like this, they can learn any tool can be the right tool if your mind is ready for it. Okay? You can get started. This is a wheelchair ramp into swordsmanship. You don't need a lot of strength. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need a lot of time. You don't need a lot of skill to make a trainer like this. And that's why these will always be among my favorite trainers. Now, let's see. Where were we? Don't get Nick fired. I think the end cap on mine was the most expensive part because my sword was a gift from my old seafood. I usually associate Batojutsu more with Zatochi. Yeah. Those who know. But that's probably because I don't watch much anime. No, excellent point. I have a whole bunch of PVC pipe in my basement. Now, as a minor, I can't suggest that you train with that, but there you go. Hello. Hi, some person. How are you? Hey-o. Because you're short. Joking. I am short. I am 5'7" on my short leg and 5'8" on my long leg, basically. I have a 34-inch maximum, reach. It is a joke. PVC is it is a joke. It feels like a joke. PVC is great for making training swords. It's kind of where I started. I have several designs for different types of sword I've made for other people. Hello there. And yes, Alec, many of us are short and several of us are tall. Nice whacking stick. Exactly. A nice whacking stick lets you get started. It's that notch from picking up a stick in the woods. Now, somewhere tucked away, I have the stick in the woods I carved to be my first boken. It's brutal and embarrassing, but I kind of love it. And looking back, it's about this long. Alex says, yeah, I'm short. In my opinion, I'm stuck at 5'4", 5'5". Sounds like a normal height for me. A lot of my people should be. Congrats, you beat me to it. Yep, you're tall for some of my students. I could use some nails. Okay. I topped out at 5'2", and I'm over 6 foot. That's the great bit of this. I'm shocked at the prices of those trainers. Yeah, I will. If you have any doubts or questions, I can easily answer them. I'm more than happy to bring them up on screen live and walk you through my favorites. If you want the lower cost ends of them, definitely look up the basic trainer line. So he hides his snacks where I can't reach. Yep, tall people are fun. It slices, it dices, it even makes julienne fries. What could it possibly be? Sledge-o-matic. No, hot. Totally does too. There's 2 cabinets in our kitchen above the oven that I can't reach. This is why I need to check your books out at the library. Yes, books like The Simple Sword. Hashtag, actually sponsored. This is where you would start checking it out from the library or getting it quite cheaply online as a digital book. Wrap Christmas lights for cheap lightsaber. Absolutely. Wrap Christmas lights. These aren't thick enough, but honestly, if you had the clear carbon, not carbon. Oh god. Oh, I can't remember what you can get lightsaber blades essentially real inexpensive and just run an LED strip to the end, glue it to the top, like they sell at Walmart, put it to a battery source and a switch inside. You won't have noise, but you can have fighting sabers. Oh, okay. You did color guard at BC with the band. Oh, Alec. Oh, that means you should look definitely into staff fighting techniques, because that will help a lot. Twirls and stuff can be used with training, so that means you have flexibility. You know where you are. You've learned to know the range for others. That's a great thing to have in your back pocket as a swords. Simply Amazon.com/store/Mr. Nicholas Anthony Tucker, B07 P26 PSF3, which is the code to get the simple sword. I made a lightsaber from yarn, pipe insulation, and a dowel. Absolutely. My point is, there are a lot of trainers you can use to get the ball rolling and really make something that that will work. Throwing them at the beginning was fun. Kept getting bumped on the head. I imagine so. But it's a good start, and you can't feel bad about that. I'm going to have a lot of fun trying to tweak and finish this little creation off. And like I said, I may make a second one that's much shorter for the purpose of that. Now, the other reason I like the half-inch PVC is I have small hands. And this is a comfortable grip diameter for me. For a lot of people, but you also have to remember that the nerves in my hands are weaker, so I need a little bit more overlap to be able to lock in comfortably. That's why the spiral rope helps. It just makes my grip a little more positive. These will work, but again, these are the thin wall. You want to use the thicker wall for other things. But you can it just functions. And from tools like this, you can learn the basics of self-defense for sport or function. I am going to go into some videos about self-defense in the near future on this channel because I keep getting asked about them. And I've said a lot of it across different videos, but I don't think I've done a dedicated video on it. So I will probably have to do that one as a recorded scripted video to keep everything straight, and then come in and then release that, just because I love my chat, but I get distracted by you guys, which is awesome. I have no problem for that. And take a look at Nick's books, The Simple Sword, The Simple Spear, and The Fighting Axe. All available here. I made a lightsaber handle out of PVC, duct tape, some screws, and some pipe cleaners. Needed some props for a Star Wars TTRPG. Absolutely. I have done all sorts of lightsabers without the blades, lightsaber hilts. And what's funny is, if you look up the blades you can order just the clear plastic blades, and you can make essentially a flashlight, or better yet, like I described, the long thread of LED lights that goes all the way down, and then a switch. If you're not trying to get it to make noise and flash when during the clash, it is so simple. It's not much more complicated than a flashlight. There's nothing stopping you from building something like that. Thesis says, Alec, let me tell you about the mighty bonk. My first weapon was a pair of nunchucks that I made out of broom handles. I hit myself more times than I care to admit. And not just on my head. Arms, legs, and other parts of my body that don't appreciate blunt force training. Fair. I get bonked a lot with many things. We're distracting. Yes, but in good ways. Props are fun. Nick has art too. Yes, I have art. deviantart.com/Nick T. You'll see 1,075 pieces of my art. Now, to answer a question I got about that on my other show, because whenever my art comes up, not all my art is up there. For example, the art I did for the library, none of that will be up there because they are minors. Likewise, the art I'm doing for the Kid and Teen RPG Club will not be up there due to the fact that the kids are minors. I won't do it. It wouldn't be appropriate. Not that the art isn't appropriate, but I'm just not going there. I do a lot of art, at least 3 pics a week. I may even do a late stream tonight, depending on how my weekend goes, because I had plans for the weekend and they just went, so we shall see. But we still have props too. They're in your bedroom closet. No flashing allowed. Yes. One thing for anybody who does stuff that they want to show Cindy Cat, please give flash warnings or have no flashing involved because she's semi-athletic. I have a real lightsaber. It was very expensive. Thankfully, I did not buy it. I have a background. Nope. I love drawing. I love the Nitsu drawing, though. And that's a different situation. Exactly. No plan survives the first contact with reality. Your plans are gone. Come play football with me. And I know what you mean. You are bilingual. No one can give you any flack for minor typos or other issues. And see, Alec is laughing at the thought of my fat self trying to play, my fat, gimpy self trying to play football. And when we talk about football, it's the proper name, not egg hand, which is American football. I live in the middle of Indiana, and if I stop and tilt my head, I can hear the rage. I am. It's funny. Look at like Chilly Willy out there with Ronaldo. Yeah, that'll go well. I am good at many things. Currently, certain types of sports I am not currently good at. But at one point, I used to play a good bit of what we called soccer. But yes, I am now losing at Lamau. Well, I'm glad you're having fun, Alec. It's meant to be an entertaining and uplifting program, like most of my works. But there are people built like you in our groups. And you know what? If I can get my legs to work, I'd take you up on it. I have never been afraid of making a fool of myself. It's funny. I have like a standing list of really interesting places to go in South America, because if I were rich enough to go down to South America, I would visit Johnny and hang out with him and play football badly and record it for all you guys as entertainment. And then I'd go swing and see my buddy Pedro Ang, and we have a standing plan to go snorkeling if I ever make it. I used to play back in elementary. I would have rather played that that than baseball or basketball, but alas, it wasn't to be. We could draw together after the game if I don't dislocate my shoulder again. Yes, let's hope you don't. I had my dislocated shoulder. I'm just gonna let that go. My shoulder dislocated for me once. It was not a fun experience, nor was putting it back, but these things happen. Ouch! Yeah, that's unpleasant. I played soccer exactly one season. I was only slightly better than I was at softball. I was abysmal at softball. Alec, I had the chance to go to Japan this summer, but couldn't because my sister's medical problems at the time. I'm sorry to hear that. I played a bit in elementary. They liked to make me goalie for some random reason. Yeah, I understand that. Dislocated shoulders are not fun. Tab A goes back into slot B. Yeah, let's try to keep all our joints in place. So yes, we can, to round out what we're saying, because we're almost at the end of the hour, and I'm a little punchy after some of the news, and I have to reach out to some other folks to make sure. Which at one point I have to do frequently with my hip. I would rather dislocate my hip instead of snapping the head off. It's okay. I will get another chance. It just won't get paid for, thankfully. Savings account is a good. I'm sorry, Alec. I was never fast. I was terrified of the ball. Thus, it always managed to hit me rather than get past me. If you can't dodge a wrench, you can't dodge a ball. I mean, is this the inverted dodgeball theory? And yes, I want to make a big foam wrench to yeet at people. I believe yeet is the proper term. Because it would be funny and then yell, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a sword. But, God, now I have to do that. I really have to do that. I'm going to have to make a big boffer wrench just to go, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a sword. And I could even use regular silver duct tape for it. Or I can make it plastidip. I am Speed. You call me Sonic. Hi, Sonic. I am the Eggman. No. Oh, Lordy, that was funny. But I want you guys to build the things that work for you. And work on designs that work for you. Now, I was going to do an Ask Me Anything, but we only have 2 minutes left. I am short and chunky. Speed is not me. That's okay. Earthbending is a thing for. Please don't throw wrenches at me during drills. That's my brother Ricky. No promises. It's highly unlikely, but it is possible. Now you need to dress up as Patches up. Well, we can talk about weapon techniques that work for the different body types. It's been a while since I've discussed that. And stereotyping exists for a reason in some martial arts. And we can talk about the different approaches, especially for people who are, shall we say, anchored. You're shorter, you're not as fast, maybe you're not as strong. What can we do to offset these things? Because there's a great set of discussion on there. If you throw drills, you might get wrenched. Oh God. Patches O'Halloran. Now I want to watch the dodgeball movie. Stranger things have happened. But now, I do want to do one other thing before I run out of my hour and have to deal with everything else, like actually eating my dinner. I want to remind you guys, if you are buying my books, okay, I don't have the thing here, but basically the prices are going to go up. Perhaps substantially, perhaps marginally. Likely at the end of this weekend. I intend to do some I intend to do some orders that I have to do, and then basically I'm getting a lot of messages from Amazon like, we have had problems with your account in the past. Perhaps you would like to click the adjust your wages button now so that everything can be set up. So my book prices will be going up marginally in the near future. Please get your copies soon. Um, how about we say I'll try to hold off till Monday to give you guys the weekend to order anything you need to order, and then no promises. But because I just found out I may have to be prepping a whole lot of a couple publications much sooner than I wanted to get them out as an IP preservation thing. It's going to get hinky. So we will see. With that, let me check the comments to see how we're doing. Food. Buy the books here. Buy them soon before the prices go up. Or wait till after the weekend so Nick gets more money. Now, I will tell you this. It is my plan to raise the prices in such that my minuscule profit margin stays the minuscule profit margin I've always had. I don't want to try to use this as an opportunity to up my personal prices. I think that would be shady. So that's what's coming down the pipe there. We shall see. With that, guys, please, please, please do your drills. There are only 9 guards you need to know of. And remember, the 9th is just defense by intimidation out of 4th. You'll know what I mean. Workers deserve their wages. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I have no problem with them going up because it's for production stuff. And I hope that perhaps this across the board reflects in the treatment of Amazons. Raising your own. How the Blue House raising the prices of your own stuff shady? Well, a lot of people are taking their cost is going up. So I'll take that, and instead of keeping my existing profit margin, I'll add on to the end. And I'm not sure I want to do that. Valuable things have a price. That's true too. So we will see what we can do on all those fronts. Like I said, I'll be clicking the button soon, and then there will be fluxing. Need to get back to painting. Talk to you later. Wish me luck for tomorrow. Good luck on, I believe, your yard sales. I don't know if there's anything else. You'll do fine. Don't be nervous. Unless there's something else going on. Yep. If you wish to tip me, send me any funds, because Lord knows I can use them. PayPal.me/Nicholas Tucker. And hide that. Have fun storming the castle, and that's not the same as castling in a storm. Who plays chess outside during storms? I don't want to know. I'm sure someone does. But with all those shenanigans, guys, do your drills. Keep your eyes open, because the threat you see coming is the threat you can negate. Be kind to yourself and each other, because many times the world won't. And as always, thank you for supporting your local swordmaster. I will be back. It makes sense that Johnny plays chess in the storms. Well, I was thinking outside, not inside. I'm being dumb. It's okay. Guys, have with all the players in armor, live chess. No, okay. Do not light metal armor and lightning storms don't mix. We'll call that our the more you know safety. But guys, I love you. I'm gonna let you guys go. You have a lovely night. Any questions you have, hit me up. We'll do Ask Me Anything next week. So plan your Ask Me Anythings for preferably more weapon-based or sword-based or whatever. And we'll go. And yes, like and subscribe. Click the bell so you don't miss anything, because there's going to be some more content. I was going to let a little water make me throw that advantage away. I understand entirely. Waves. Bye, guys.